Yes, Ashley Dunn, where's the buzz? Hi, ladies.
Hi, Ashley. Looking
I'm
beautiful as usual.
I
I
know, I'm
know
like,
Ashley.
Anna. You always killing my H-Town sister. Yes,
Thank
you,
all right, but you
you.
have somebody else here today. No, I'm
yes, you.
joking.
Oh, you
ATL
look
is
gorgeous
also
too.
here.
It's definitely a moment. It's definitely a moment. Ladies, I'm so excited to talk about this film, Nanny, a psychological horror thriller that explores social issues, but ultimately at its core, it's a film about a mother's love for her son and her sacrifice for her son. Nikyatu, you started writing this script while you were in film school over the span of 8 years. Talk to us about what inspired this story and why it was so important for you to tell.
You know what? I always try to make it clear that I didn't write for 8 consecutive years. It was definitely something that I started and I stopped and I overthought and then I was like, because a script is a blueprint. It's not like a novel. It doesn't, the words don't die on the page. So you're writing it as a means to collect a team, to get money, to get financing, to be in production. And so I just overthought the process, which is why it took 8 years. I abandoned the project, wrote other scripts that I thought would be my first features and came back. I kept coming back. And so pieces of it are very loosely based on my mother's story. She is a brilliant Sierra Leonean woman who came to America highly educated already with her own dreams and goals and aspirations, but had to end up doing work that was the most accessible to her. And most of that work was, some of it was domestic labor, some of it was waiting tables, some of it was et cetera, et cetera. But things that as a child, you look at your mom and you adore your mom and she's like your superhero, heroine, and you perceive this work as beneath her. And so that was the springboard. But I knew I didn't want to tell an African protagonist woman's story as a straightforward drama. I wanted magical, mystical horror elements incorporated in. And tapping into my Sierra Leonean lineage, I tapped into two figures of resistance, Mami Wata and Anansi the Spider. So I started to weave that into the storytelling.
Mm, that's so good. I'm so glad that you did this. I mean,
Thank
visuals,
you.
everything, the story is so on point. Anna, just like Nikyatu talked about her mom, this story has many parallels to your own life as well. Did the similarities inform how you approached the role of Aisha?
Ooh, I mean, it did in that I wanted to honor my mother
Mhm.
through the performance. And I wanted to honor not just my mother, but women like Nikyatu's mother as well, immigrant women's, immigrant individuals, immigrant families who are making these very difficult decisions. One of my favorite quotes is by Nayyirah Waheed, and it's, "You broke the ocean only to meet nothing that wants you." And it's titled Immigrant.
Wow.
And you broke the ocean in half only to meet nothing that wants you. And so, and it's always stuck with me because it's my own story. We left Senegal. I say we, I was 5 years old, but my mother left Senegal in hopes of and in pursuit of the American dream, in pursuit of something better than what she had, in hopes that she could give me something better than what she had. And so, yeah, it's a deeply personal story to me, and I was just honored to be able to tell it finally.
Finally, your mom even has like a mini cameo in the film also.
She does.
The term elevated or thoughtful horror has been used to describe this genre. Was it always important for you? And you talked about it a little bit, but was it always important for you to infuse those elements of horror to get the story told, to get the story out?
I've had people put these different phrases on the film, and elevated horror is one that keeps coming up. Some people are butting up against it. Some people love the title. They feel like it's an accurate labeling of the film. And as a creator, when you're writing the script and you're assembling this team, you're not thinking about what is this labeled as. You're thinking about the storytelling itself. So I'm finding on the other side of this, I'm navigating that conversation. And I will say that elevated horror feels like the most accurate phrase that I've heard thus far, because the filmmakers I admire who are foreign filmmakers outside of the US context,
Mhm.
their horror is considered elevated horror. And I would say Ari Aster is one of the few American horror filmmakers, even Jordan Peele, you know, like I think their work is considered elevated horror, but it's a phrase I started to hear with foreign horror filmmakers, Michael Haneke, Jennifer Kent. And so it's a phrase that I see as a compliment because it shows reverence to the people I admire as filmmakers who give me permission to make the type of horror that I want to make, that has something resonant to say. And to me, that's the most important thing. I'm not making this for the jump scares or the paint by numbers type of American horror that I think a lot of people are comfortable with. I'm making this to send a message and to illuminate a protagonist that we're not used to seeing in this genre.
Definitely. And we're so grateful for it. Again, they're rushing to go. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.